Welcome to the Sports Betting Podcast from pregame.com for the week of Thanksgiving weekend 2009. I'm your host, RJ Bell, and I'm joined by Vegas runner, genuine professional bettor here in Las Vegas, Marco D'Angelo, 30 years in the business, and many Thanksgivings he put in. I mean,
a lot of turkey.
A lot of turkey in those 30 years. All right, this is segment 5 of 6, big game preview, Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens. Now, we've got Marco, who is Mr. Pittsburgh, but first, he lived in Pittsburgh for 46 years, right, before you moved to Vegas here.
Yep.
First, though, VR, as usual, what did the line do in this game?
It hasn't yet. The odds makers are afraid to release it due to Ben Roethlisberger.
All right, so we're taping Wednesday. Now, for everything, we were talking about this in the pre-show, is everything I've heard
is he's going to play.
He's going to play. Tomlin's saying he's going to play. Ben's like, it's not an official concussion. He's like, it was a bump on the head. They took a precaution.
Right.
It shows you, I think, and we usually rip on Vegas sports books, and rightfully so, because they're the scariest cats around. If everything's right, they'll take a big bet. But if everything's not right, forget about it. But, man, even the offshore books are scared here, which could mean maybe this talk of Big Ben being certain isn't as certain, because, again, what they would do mathematically is say, all right, what are the odds that Ben's going to play? What would the line be if he does? What would the line be if they don't? And then they would price it together.
Put a circle around it, limit bets.
And limit the bets. The fact they're not doing that tells me either they're getting even more scared, or as scared as Vegas, or there's something more to this story.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we should talk 2/3 of this 10 minutes about assuming Big Ben does play, and we can talk a minute or two assuming he doesn't play. So let's have some fun here. Really, one handicapping approach is to make a line on a game before you see the line. And then if it varies, that's when this is what the true wise guys do.
Create a number.
They know that they have value because the line's so different. So let's do it. Vegas runner, if Big Ben plays, what's the number on this game?
If Big Ben plays, I think they got to bring Pittsburgh out as a pick 'em where Pittsburgh is a 1-point favorite. Because last week when they brought out Baltimore as a 1-point favorite against Indy, what happened? The wise guys jumped on Indianapolis. Indy went to the favorite, and what did they do? Win by 2? The line went off 1.5. They got very close to getting middled there, and they're going to be afraid. They're going to be afraid this time around. I'm telling you, it'll be a pick'em or Pittsburgh favorite. I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to be afraid to bring Baltimore out as a favorite.
They can't bring Pittsburgh out a favorite in this game. Baltimore will be the favorite in the game.
Future line, Baltimore was -1, just so you know.
Well, if Baltimore will be if Ben plays, Baltimore will be 2.
Sorry.
Baltimore will be a 2-point favorite in this game.
All right, so I'll bet you that right now is if Big Ben plays, the opening number, the first number comes out will be less than. It will at least be Baltimore -1.5 or less.
1.5 or less? Okay.
You want to bet?
I'll bet.
500?
Speaking, I owe you a nickel. I have it rolled here somewhere. It's all there. Go ahead. The serial numbers.
What was this for?
LSU, Mississippi. Just want to make sure.
You shouldn't even I shouldn't even get that back. They didn't even cover. It was like a quarter point they covered.
Your record is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
They cashed the winning tickets there.
All right, so you're thinking, all right, we've got our bet, though. You're thinking it's going to come out Baltimore -2.
Yes.
I am right with VR. I think it's pick 'em. I don't think Pittsburgh's the favorite. I think it's pick 'em. It's hard to say. If you really think about it, the question is how much are they going to take this KC game in account? Because Pittsburgh and Indy prior to last week, Indy might have been about 1 point better. Meaning if they played on a neutral, Indy might have been -1 with the Steelers. I think clearly Pittsburgh playing bad is going to move that a little bit, but I don't see it moving more than it would have to move 3 point, or it would have to move 2 full points.
And Baltimore lost at home last week.
Yeah, Baltimore, I think it was right on the line. They were as good as the wise guy, or as the odds makers thought they were. And to me, do you move Pittsburgh 2 point? First of all, do you agree that the line would have been Indy, Pittsburgh last week on a neutral would have been Indy 1?
No, I still would have had Indy at 2 or 2.5. They're undefeated. The Steelers are game 2 games over 500.
I mean, you're thinking like a square there.
No, Pittsburgh's not played well in the last month.
What was the New England Indy line before that game?
The New England
Indianapolis line. Well, it ended up being New England like -1.5, right? So they went off the key number of 3, saying this undefeated Colts team was 1.5 worse than New England. And I don't think Indy's done anything since. All right, but either way, that's an honest disagreement. Let's dig into the game now. What do you look at? And again, we call you Mr. Pittsburgh. What's your record in Pittsburgh-based teams?
Well, we used the over last week.
What's your record?
45-20.
45-20, winner last week. That's betting on or off Pittsburgh-based teams. That's football, basketball, baseball, totals, the whole thing.
How long is that for, Marco?
That's for 2009.
This year?
This year.
That's awesome. All right, so let's get to some facts. What's the key facts in this game?
Pittsburgh's got to fix their special teams. It's horrible. I've never seen a team as bad as they have this year. They've had problems in the past. This is not like something new. This is a recurring problem with the Steelers, and you would think that they could fix one area, but they just keep doing it.
And it confuses me because Steelers draft so well. Usually special teams are about the second and third or the second string guys. How good are they? Pittsburgh's known to be reload when they lose free agents. Well, where's these? It makes you wonder if this team's thin.
Yeah.
And because, or maybe it's just, who knows? Maybe it's coaching. All right, what do you look at the key, special teams coach?
So far, the odds makers have made you pay a premium on Pittsburgh. You say that every week that they do it. Proof is in the numbers. They're 3-8 against the spread. You're never going to get a deal on this game, on this team. What I really dug into and saw that last year, Pittsburgh did the trifecta against this team. Beat them twice during the regular season and then beat them in the playoffs, too. So that's like as triple revenge as it comes for handicappers.
Playoff revenge is one of the biggest handicapping tools for because that's the finale. When you lose to a team,
you knocked them out. How did you beat them twice during the season? Then you knocked them out of the playoffs. So that revenge factor to me is what stuck out the most on the Baltimore side. And Pittsburgh had to travel while Baltimore got to stay home. So it's just a little.
So it's
extra
back-to-back road games for the Steelers.
Exactly.
Now let's pull that gold. We talk about gold nuggets sometimes. So playoff revenge, where if the prior year, if one of the teams knocked the other team out of the playoffs, then the revenge team is hyper motivated the first game the next year.
Absolutely, definitely.
What's the line if Dennis Dixon starts?
Well, let's talk about that. We've got 2 minutes. What is the line?
Double digits. It has to be. The guy's one attempt in 2 years. You're going to bring Baltimore out as a 10-point favorite. I'm telling you.
They're not going to. They can't. You're saying Ben Roethlisberger's worth 8 points?
To the public, he is. It's a Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, first he'd be worth 10 points because they're not going to be laying 2.
To this he is. To this he is. Yes. Yeah. I'm telling you. No, it's not Ben Roethlisberger. It's Ben Roethlisberger, then Charlie Batch. So you got a developmental squad quarterback. You don't even have a backup quarterback.
This probably will be. Remember now we had
not a backup. Sorry, it's not a backup. I'm
the host. I'll cut your mic here.
I'm done. I'm going to leave. Body language tells it all.
Here, he's off the screen. We had Donovan McNabb out with Cobb backing up, which is a big disparity. And you make a good point. It's not how good the quarter. If Joe Montana got hurt and Steve Young was there, the line would have adjusted 1 point or whatever. So it's not about how good the quarterback is. It's how relatively good he is versus the second string quarterback. I think now the McNabb line changed about 4 points, if I remember correctly, and that was a huge move. This could be bigger. Let's assume the line would have been 2. I do think it's over a touchdown. I don't think it's 10.
I say it'll be 7. It'll be 7 or 7.5.
That would be one of the biggest.
If Dixon has to start.
I hope Ben don't play. I hope he don't play.
That would be one of the biggest single player moves I've ever seen.
Yeah. For
All
sure.
Right. Hey, great conversation. We had to talk a little generic because we don't know a lot of the information, but it was very helpful and insightful, I think. Next up, we're going to do Monday Night Football, and it's going to be my free pick. And remember, you can watch all of our videos at pregame.tv, or if you want to download and listen, go to iTunes and search for pregame.com.